Once again from Chicago. This time it's the panel brought to you by Sport Chek. Tom Gazzola alongside Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels from the Oilers Radio Network. Lots and lots of wheeling and dealing going on in the NHL, and today with the Edmonton Oilers. Ryan Strome becoming an Oiler in exchange for Jordan Eberle. Guys, let's start out with your thoughts on what we saw transpire today.
Well, I think this trade for Peter Chiarelli and the Edmonton Oilers is just as much about the 2019-20 Oilers as it is the 17-18 edition. Peter Chiarelli stressed that this made sense from both a hockey perspective but also a cap management perspective. And he appreciates Ryan Strome's attributes, his solid board work, his phenomenal wrist shot, and his upside, while also acknowledging that he's got two pretty big guns that are already in his holster that he's got to get signed in the very near future.
Bob, what can you say about this move?
Well, obviously, Peter stated it right really from the opening of his availability at the end of the year, right? He said the first priority for the Oilers organization is to get Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl signed long term. That's the highest scoring tandem in the National Hockey League last year. Obviously, Connor ended up being named last night, multiple trophy winner, Hart Trophy winner, voted on, by the media, and then even the players picked him as the best player in the National Hockey League this past year. And then Draisaitl in the playoffs, we saw what he and playing at center as well, giving the Oilers some options there. So he outlined things from there, and at that point, I think you knew something was going to give at some stage, and 100%, we all knew that there was going to be cap issues moving forward. We don't know what the number is going to be coming in for McDavid and Draisaitl, but safe to assume it's going to be a fair amount. So you have to alter your lineup. It's part of the business, and just as last year there was a little bit of a surprise, I think, with Taylor Hall going for Adam Larsson. Maybe people didn't know as much about Adam Larsson. I actually think, and Jack, you brought up a good point just in terms of the attributes that Ryan Strome has. I think that there's some fans not a lot of fans watch the Islanders on a regular basis, right?
Most importantly, to touch on something you said earlier, it's the versatility we saw last year with Draisaitl, and during the playoffs moving over to the center ice position. Ryan Strome has that same ability as well. He took more than 300 draws, and that magnifies the importance of getting that Russell deal done, because you're not going to have Sekera at the beginning of the season. And again, he can be valuable in that role as a veteran guy to stabilize everybody.
Bob, real quick, anything else?
No, let's see what happens with the draft tomorrow.
Natural center ice.
He's a natural center. He played, he and Nugent Hopkins played on that World Junior team going back in that lockout year in 12-13, and this is a guy, his best offensive campaign, he played center. He didn't play the wing. Again, a right shot as well is going to help out the Oilers. And Jack hit on the thing, to me, that stuck out from Chiarelli's availability earlier today, guys. He can shoot the puck. He can shoot it. I know people see him more as a playmaker, but he's got the ability to finish. All the Strome boys, they can shoot the pill. So, from that end of things, it's part of it's a piece that alters the makeup of the Oilers moving forward.
Okay, the Oilers lost a piece last night at the expansion draft. Happened to be Griffin Reinhart. What do you guys make of that situation there?
Well, not overwhelmingly a surprise. I think Bob and I had Griffin Reinhart, and you kind of went the Kara route, knowing that it was either going to be Kara or Reinhart, most likely from an Edmonton Oilers perspective. So, for sure, it's another defenseman that kind of leaves the pipeline in the system, but Edmonton has also talked about, and this is the other thing that Peter Chiarelli focused on today at the availability, the importance of getting Chris Russell signed. He said, it's been a priority. He wants to get him signed. We expect he will get signed, and that will alleviate some of the angst created by the fact that in an expansion draft, you're bound to lose a good player or a good prospect.
I guess my only disappointment in terms of Griffin is I think he really took a significant step forward by all reports this year. I know I had a chance to talk to Jerry Fleming a lot, and he really got much more assertive as the season went on. Neutral observers, a guy like Craig Button, were certainly speaking volumes about how far Griffin had progressed during the course of the year. I still think Griffin can be a 4 or 5 NHL defenseman. I realize not everybody feels that way. And then in terms of Chris Russell, this is a player, I know the analytics guys are all over the player, but this is a guy the guys on the team love.
He really calmed down the defense whenever he played.
They loved him.
Yeah.
And
his presence helped alleviate the long-term absence of Darnell Nurse.
Right.
Without that, I think Edmonton might have gotten exposed a little earlier in the season, which could have had a trickle-down effect on the entire campaign. Remember, when the Oilers lost 5 in a row to get back to 9-8, I believe it was, a lot of people were saying, uh-oh, here we go. And it was the presence of a veteran guy like Russell with Nurse out of the lineup that was able to stabilize things.
Some guys are right for some markets, okay?
Right.
Mark Letestu was right for the Edmonton market, represented by Elaine Waugh. Elaine Waugh out of Harvard, Peter Chiarelli out of Harvard. Elaine Waugh also has Chris Russell, and he's got Patrick Maroon.
Right.
Okay, those are three of his significant clients. I expect the deal to get done. I think we know it's going to get done. And I just think that Chris Russell, a guy out of West, a guy from Alberta, from our region, within 100 minutes of Edmonton, just the right fit for this team.
And Andre Sakura on the record says he loves playing with Chris Russell. I know Sakura's hurt, but that's a big part of that as well.
Well, and again, that magnifies the importance of getting that Russell deal done, because you're not going to have Sakura at the beginning of the season. And again, he can be valuable in that role as a veteran guy to stabilize everybody.
Bob, real quick, anything else?
No, let's see what happens with the draft tomorrow.
All right, that's it for the panel from Chicago. We'll see you tomorrow.